Football and astrology. It's 10th of March, 11th actually, as I speak, and in this clip I want to look at last week, the Champions League, Paris, Manchester United, with crazy things going on there, and present some examples on scorers from the weekend. It was a lot. It was remarkable stuff, I can only say that. And I'm talking about Wednesday when Rome-Porto was one match and Paris and Manchester United was the other one. But beforehand, as sort of appetizer, there was a match that stood out in Switzerland, a cup match. And the match this was the starting chart for the match. See Luzern in Switzerland, and this was pretty much started exact with the new moon Neptune that we had, and the Mercury station in the final degree of Pisces, and of course Uranus had just changed and stepped into Taurus. And it's just remarkable to see this, because I came into this live, so to say, and because Young Boys Bern were a high favorite against Luzern, and they lost 4-0 to the big outsider. Remarkable, unexpected. And here's why. I'll show you a chart from the manager from Young Boys Bern. You see that Neptune here is on 1630 Sagittarius, and is exact square with this new moon Neptune in Pisces, and it's remarkable. Neptune is it's a long story about Neptune. It's a lot to do with football. It's not only the poetry, the dreamy thing, it's also about war and fighting a lot. But it's also the dissolving, and it's in football it's one of the arguments for loss, losing, and disappointment. And so it happened for this guy here from Bern. Totally unexpected loss in Cup, Swiss Cup. But yeah, a variation of continued with the Champions League then, because one match, Rome, they lost after winning the first leg. They lost at Porto in extra time, due to crazy penalty decision based on the all-seeing eye that we had seen so much before, the night before at Real Madrid. And as I say soon, of course, you know Manchester United, the penalty in the last minute, also through a video referee, and really crazy and freaky stuff appropriate with the Uranus sign change for this 2 days of Champions League. And but that's okay. Look at Rome for a quick look, because this guy Francesco, he had a difficult time for longer already, and as you see also with him, it's the opposition with Neptune. The sun is on 15 and the new moon was right opposing to the sun, and he did not only lose his job, but did not only lose the match, but also lost his job after the match. And the whole way it happened was really disappointing for them, because I think the penalty thing that was rather unfair. Okay, let's go to Paris. Craziest thing here, the most unexpected thing happened, but if you watched my last clip, in the end I spoke about Solskjaer, this miracle man, and about 1999 when he scored the winning goal for Champions League for Manchester United, and how that, you can look the other clip if you want to see the details. And I pronounced that we had a court of recall a little bit, call back to this, because Jupiter and Uranus was tight sextile with his Uranus, and I speculated over that maybe, just maybe, they would make the unbelievable possible. And crazy as it was, it indeed happened in the most freaky way, as mentioned with the penalty. But let's look at Paris because the match started so with a big mistake from this German player, Kehrer, complete blackout. The first goal came from this, and you see that his son is on 29 almost, Virgo, and as I said before, the 3 days the Mercury went into station right in opposition on 29, and stationary planets, they are unstable and they can bring you in trouble, as happened with this guy here. And it's not only that, but because the story really is that if you look into the classical literature for astrology, Paris as a city is listed under 29 Virgo, so the last degree Virgo. And I recall when the terror came to Paris, also when German played France there that night, and the Bataclan thing and everything happened, there was Mars on 29 Virgo, and it was all about this degree. And I recall that this band, the guy from this band that played at Bataclan, he was with, I don't know, Sun Pluto or something on 29 Virgo. It was remarkable. And based on this, I had speculated over Tuchel, the German manager from Paris, that his moon might be on 29 Virgo, because this may have brought him to Paris in the first place. And yes, imagine with this Mercury getting into station right in opposition, they are out of Champions League once again. Too bad for them. And the penalty actually was caused by this guy Kim Pembe, and I don't want to extend this too long, but you see that his nodal axis, fateful place in charts in the general as a general, is just on this sign change where Uranus was sitting. So he was up for some headlines too. And to finish it off, the incredibly important penalty in this minute 93 or something was scored by Rashford, and for this you need special scripture too, and he had Jupiter, the transiting Jupiter was right, spot on his Mars, and Mars rules guns and shots, and Jupiter is like big shots and big guns and big goals, and this is a recipe for this, I'd say. So what an important thing. Yeah, it's a crazy story. One could talk much more about this, and it's, yes, my congratulations, sympathy is with Manchester United and Paris and football. It just doesn't seem to go together anyway. Okay, now here is just some scorer stories that really also stood out. Bit unrelated, but first thing that was on Friday night, I think there was a new star rising for Juventus Turin. Here, 19-year-old guy called Keane. I think scored his first goals in his first appearance or so, and this is a transit for the next morning. The moon actually, when the match was played, was spot on his Mars. Almost, it was on 11, I think. But also worth noting is that transit Jupiter is spot on his moon, and we're talking about the noon chart here. I just put on the noon, and the moon is right in here for this. It's like so often that the noon chart just seems to make sense. And he scored 2 goals, and that was good, crazy, good, impressive start for this man. In Germany, there was on Sunday, that was already, there was Hamburg, St. Pauli and Hamburg, 2 clubs in the second league, was from the same city, Hamburg. and the match was 4-0 to HSV, to Hamburg, and 2 goals scored by Lazogar, this player with the Sun and Jupiter as well, transits on his Sun. And apart from that, Mars was here in 16 Taurus and is closing this grand trine with Jupiter and Neptune. So you get this big figure, and this, as said before in other clips, this is time for the good time. And another story is a bit funny thing. Maybe if you someone may have noticed, there's 2 players, Jeddah from Sevilla and Balotelli, who is now at Marseille, and they are born on the same day. You see here Balotelli, and there is this remarkable tight Venus-Jupiter conjunction on the last degree of Cancer, and you see it here. For this guy, it's for Sevilla, and for Balotelli, it's at Palermo, Italy. I think they were born there. And the story is that in the early evening, this afternoon, Sunday, this guy scored 3 goals, and I don't know why it's not so obvious, but I was actually wondering if Balotelli would also score a couple of hours later. And imagine he did. He scored 1 goal only, but it was decisive because it was the only goal of the evening. So that was a nice story, and it would be simple if it would be easy like this all the time. Imagine. Yes, and the highlight for the end, certainly the guy who always has my sympathy is this guy Jamie Vardy from Leicester City. And I show you his chart, and I'll show you the match chart, and you see his Jupiter here is on 19 Pisces, and his match on Saturday that was played, of course, was with the Sun here, right there on 19 Pisces. And it's not only the Sun, but it's like kind of between the Mars-Saturn here, but well, let's just leave it with the Sun. It's enough, because the story is well, he scored his goal. In fact, he scored 2 goals even. But it wasn't just any old goal, but it was a special goal, because, as I put it up here, imagine it was his 100th goal for his club Leicester City. So it doesn't make that sense. This big thing, 100 goal, the celebration thing, coming up with the Sun passing over his Jupiter. In mind, that's so simple, that's so obvious, and it's also teaches you a lesson, because it's much easier like to predict what will happen if you're closer to the story, because if you know that he has 99 goals and you know that the Sun is moving over his Jupiter, you know you know that it will happen. And if you don't know this story, it's much more speculative, and you can't be so close to all the football in Europe, which does make it a bit difficult. But still, it is remarkable, I'd say. And for the final, I give an outlook for this week, because this is will bring Bayern München and Liverpool for the decision. And I put my neck out here and say that it unfortunately will be game over for Liverpool at Bayern München. And this is a chart for Klopp, and the birth sign is pretty reliable. And I just want to make the point that Uranus is square to his ascendant now, tight. And in fact, the same thing was when the last Champions League final was played, because Uranus was in Taurus before, and at that time he was moving backwards, I think, and not sure, yes, I think it was back movement, and they lost, and Salah has his Mars here, and he got this bad foul injury in the final of this story. Anyway, I guess